If I walked up in front of all of you today and I was missing an arm, or I was walking with a prosthetic leg, you'd understand my pain and some of the suffering that I went through. But if I stood in front of you today, looking completely normal, but you knew I was a veteran, you wanted to understand kind of the mental struggle I was going through, which comes in the form of PTSD. A lot of soldiers returning today, this is what they're dealing with, those invisible wounds that are still plaguing them, but it doesn't come at the same magnitude as a missing arm or a missing leg. Roxanne Robinson, in her book Sparta, really wants to convey how this plagues returning service members and how it affects their reintegration into society. Right now, the conflicts that we're facing in Iraq and Afghanistan, the killings seem to come at random. A lot of service members step on IED, they'll be mortared, there'll be ambushes. So this is really hard for them to deal with because if they take a wrong step, that can mean their life. They could be sleeping in their beds and be hit by a mortar. So they don't know when it's going to come, which creates a sense of paranoia. And also, it's not so much, it's just the enlisted troops outside the wire that are targets to this. It's the officers, it's anyone inside the wire or outside. Conrad knows that he easily could have died on his combat tours in the book Sparta. He knows that that IED who killed Oliveira could have killed him as well. And he knows that insurgent standing over him with that gun pointed right in his face could have pulled that trigger and ended it all. Because of this, he feels lucky just to be alive, so he downplays his PTSD symptoms. He feels that it's unfair that there's servicemen and women not returning, and he gets to return and spend time with his family and friends. So he feels that he shouldn't be having these problems, even though they plague him every day. The biggest thing that Conrad struggles with is communication. He finds it hard to have an outlet to communicate with people. When he looks at civilians in the society, like his family, they just don't have similar experiences to him. So he can't connect there. Also, he feels like he can't really connect with his troops that he was just with because he is an officer, he has to be mentally strong, and he kind of has to be there for them, so he can't really have that outlet for his own emotions. Also, a little bit has to do with the Marine culture. They're supposed to be tough. They're not supposed to have any of these weaknesses coming back. So he finds it hard to have that outlet to really display his true feelings. Now, everyone seems to kind of focus on his hardships with PTSD, but it also comes in the form for his family as well. They really understand that something's wrong with him and they want to help, but they don't have that connection with him. So they can't get through to him and have him convey really what he's feeling. Which is a struggle for them as well, because it would be really hard to look at someone that you love completely and deeply and know that something's wrong, know that they're different, and not be able to get to them, not be able to have them confide in you and express what they're truly feeling. So there is a big disconnect between him and his family, which creates really creates a problem for the reintegration back into society. Now, it's really interesting how Robinson can convey this dynamic so well, since she never served, doesn't really say that she ever had a family member serve. So the fact that she was able to do the research and really understand that this would be a big problem is interesting. Looking at accounts and doing some research of soldiers coming back from recent conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan, it almost seemed like a direct parallel. A lot of the things that they were talking about were very similar to Conrad's, and that just really reinsures how well of a job Robinson did in her own story to show the true struggles that soldiers are facing today. Also, when you look at when she did her research, it was before 2005. So the fact that she was kind of able to predict that this was going to be a growing problem and that this reintegration into society was really going to plague a lot of veterans was truly amazing. And for a stat here, based on an article in 2012, there was 600,000 troops affected by PTSD. So the fact that she was able to predict this early on in the conflict really speaks volumes to her research and the amount of time that she put into this novel. In conclusion, Robinson writes this novel with both sides of the story in mind. She wants to convey the soldiers' struggles, but she also wants to show the struggles that society faces dealing with these veterans coming back and not having an outlet for communication. Thank you.